Hello and namaskar to all of you. A two-day Central Committee meeting of the Communist Party of India Marxist was held online on the medium, and this is the communique that has been issued, which has been forwarded to all of you. The first issue that we took up is this alarming state of the COVID pandemic in the country and its surge, and the rate of growth of both positive cases and deaths in India continues to be very, very disturbingly high. The central government and PM Modi seem to have abandoned all responsibility towards containing the pandemic. Crores of people have been subjected to the double whammy of both the pandemic distress and the deepening economic crisis and the burdens that is imposing on their livelihood. The CPM had been demanding from day one, since the lockdown was announced in March, that there should be cash transfers and free food provided by the central government, cash transfers of rupees 7,500 per month to all families who are outside of the income tax bracket, and free food of 10 kg per head to all people to meet their requirements and provide them with some survival. But the government has not done it till date, and we continue to demand that. As far as the possibility of a vaccine coming out, which we hope will come out soon, we stand for this vaccine to be universally accessible by all people for free of cost. This has been the practice in independent India since the campaigns against the eradication of smallpox to the latest one on the eradication of polio. The central government took the responsibility of conducting a national awareness campaigns in order to ensure that everybody takes part in this vaccination process, and that should be the practice that should continue. But strangely, this central government has said they leave it to the states to decide whether it will be free of cost or not. This is not acceptable. This has to be the responsibility of the central government, like it always was, and it should be made universally available for everybody. And that responsibility the government cannot abdicate itself from. The Central Committee also expressed its serious concern over the fact that the Quad Alliance, which is the alliance between USA, Japan, Australia, and India, has been converted into a military alliance. Now, with a joint military exercises, that is the Malabar naval exercises, being held very shortly with all these four countries. Now, this move is actually a negation of the time-tested foreign policy position of the country, where India has been taking positions independently in the interests of our country without being party to any military or strategic alliance with the US and US imperialism. And this is something of very, very serious concern, and we, the CPIM Central Committee, is against this. We oppose this. The double whammy attack on the people, as I said, COVID pandemic and the economic recession. This economic recession is deepening. RBI has said that our growth rate for this financial year, 2021, will be a minus 9.5. IMF says that it'll be a further fall, that their projection is a minus 10.3%. And RBI has said that this projection comes on top of a steady decline in the GDP from 8.3% in 2016-17, 7% in 17-18, 6.1% in 18-19, 4.2% in 19-20, and now a minus 9.5% anticipated. So clearly, for the last 5 years, under this central government, there has been a constant decline in our GDP, and this is mounting unprecedented miseries on the people. Unemployment has grown very, very menacingly. Hunger has grown very distressingly. In the Global Hunger Index, India ranks at 94 among 107 countries. Such pangs of hunger for the Indian people are completely unnecessary and unacceptable. There are several crores of tons of food grains rotting in the central godowns. These must be used to provide free food. And on the other hand, with the sort of policies of this government, the obscene contrast is that India's 50 richest people grew wealthier by 14% in 2020 so far. So this rich becoming richer, poor becoming poorer with all these miseries is something that is not acceptable. This misery is accompanied by assaults on the working people and the peasantry. 29 existing labor laws have been abolished, replaced by 4 labor codes, bulldozed in a truncated session of the parliament, and all the rights and provisions that were there for the working class and the working people earlier have either been removed completely or substantially diluted. In fact, these codes aim to convert workers into slaves. This is not acceptable. The farm bills that were also bulldozed in a most obnoxious manner in the parliament, denying the MPs the right, their inherent right to ask for a division or a vote on these bills, and suspending some members of parliament because they demanded the right to vote. These agri bills were passed, which only benefits the foreign and domestic agribusiness corporations and put our markets and our produce at their mercy. So while they reap super profits, there is misery for our farmers, and there are serious dangers of for India's food security. And while all this is happening, using this pandemic period and the lockdown restrictions, due to the disruption of normal life, the central government is pursuing relentlessly to advance the RSS agenda of converting India into their conception of a rabidly intolerant fascistic Hindutva Rashtra. This is accompanied by increasing assaults on Dalits, women, Muslim minorities, intellectuals, and opposition party leaders. This is something we completely denounce. Likewise, in Jammu and Kashmir, despite all the other attacks that have been mounted, the dissolution of the state, the withdrawal of the of Article 370 and 35A, and the complete abrogation of the assurances that were given to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, has now come new land laws which permit outsiders to buy land and property in J&K, and this is aimed to change the demographic composition of the state while looting the resources of Jammu and Kashmir and its people. This is something also that is not acceptable. These laws must be withdrawn. The Central Committee strongly condemned the misuse of central agencies like the CBI to target the LDF government in Kerala. The Central Committee is confident that the people of Kerala will give a fitting rebuff to these machinations. The Central Committee discussed the electoral tactics that the party will adopt in the forthcoming assembly elections in the states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and Assam. As far as Kerala is concerned, as is traditionally it is done, the CPM will contest along with the LDF these coming assembly elections. In Tamil Nadu, the CPM will contest the elections as part of the DMK-led alliance. In Assam, the CPM will contest the elections in cooperation with all secular parties, including the Congress, to defeat the incumbent BJP government in the state, which is essential because to stop the sharpening of this communal polarization, the destabilization of social harmony, and the heaping of miseries on the people in the biggest of the northeastern states. And for this, we have adopted these tactics. In West Bengal, the CPM and the Left Front will have an electoral understanding with all secular parties, including the Congress, to seek the defeat of the BJP and the TMC. Then, on the basis of the discussions in the Central Committee, the Central Committee decided to give a call to conduct a nationwide campaign and protest actions independently by the party against these agri laws, against the labor codes, against the privatization of PSUs and the loot of national assets, against growing unemployment, for education, health for all, and against the escalating price rise that is further ruining people's livelihood. The Central Committee extended the CPIM's complete solidarity and support to the Kisan protest action calls of November 26, 27, and also to the call given by the central trade unions for a nationwide general strike on November 26th. The Central Committee also decided that the 2 months from November 26th, that is the day when the Kisan organizations who gave a call for the Girao of the parliament and the nationwide general strike by the central trade unions, from that date, November 26th, till January 26, 2021, in these 2 months, the Central Committee will work to set up broad coalitions of secular democratic forces, people's movements, intellectuals, and other eminent personalities on issues of protection of human rights, on civil liberties and democratic rights of the workers and peasantry, demanding the release of all political prisoners booked under draconian laws like the UAPA, NSA, sedition, etc., against mounting atrocities on Dalits, Adivasis, and women, against the undermining of independent constitutional authorities like the parliament, the judiciary, the election commission, etc., and against the BJP's massive use of money power to negate electoral verdicts by toppling democratically elected governments. December 10th is the International Human Rights Day, and December 18th is the International Day for Minority Rights. This week from December 10th to 18th must be observed all across the country, will be observed all across the country on the issues of human and minority rights. State level coalitions on each of these issues or some of them together will be forged, mobilizing widest possible forces, culminating with the call for the protection of our Constitution on Republic Day 2021. So these are the major decisions that the Central Committee has taken. And now you're welcome to ask me some questions. Some have come by email, some are here in the chat box. So let me just go around. And meanwhile, let me just see which is the email. This Manikandan from Mathrubhumi has said, well, before the Kerala media, as always, and their interest confines themselves only to the questions concerning Kerala. I think let us see if there are any other questions on the other issues that concern the country called India and the people's concerns. whether we can take those up first, and then we'll have to then we'll take up the issues that are raised regarding Kerala. Well, how does the then question the Prime Minister? This is Pranjal from Prime Minister in a speech today said Pulwama terror attack truth revealed after claims in Pakistan Parliament. He says it was very bad that some played politics on Pulwama. I appeal to those parties, if you have faith in Patel, I appeal to you. In national interest, please don't play politics on national security. How does the CPM react to the statement? Well, the CPM has always been clear on the issues of national security. It's a situation of no compromise, nor is it negotiable. So there is no question of who's playing politics with it. Those who are playing politics and in order exploiting these issues, they must think about what the PM said, but not the CPM. The uh, the Central Committee. This was from the ANI, Amit Kumar. Central Committee has approved West Bengal Unity recommendations of seat adjustments with the Congress Party. Yes, what is the further? Yes, the Central Committee, I just read out to you what it was appeared. Again, Amit Kumar from ANI. That the understanding of the Central Committee regarding the electoral tactics for all these 4 states, including Bengal. And that is the answer for your question. The Congress has directly sought alliance with the left as half-hearted tactical understanding didn't help you earlier. Will there be an alliance or just seat understanding? Also, in case of 3 or 4-way fight, won't it be an advantage to the BJP? These are matters now that will be discussed by the state units. So the entire left front is there. There are 16 parties in the left front. They'll also discuss all these issues together. And then they'll come to a certain understanding. But the Central Committee has said, yes, seat sharing, electoral adjustments with the secular parties, including Congress, is something the Central Committee has endorsed. In the past, late CM Jyoti Basu and late Comrade Surjit managed to spread the party's wings many times with the alliance of Congress. Now, when left workers in many places are either shifted to BJP or work for BJP, as the report said, will party accept Congress's suggestion and condition to go forward to ensuing Bengal election? I mean, it's a little confusing, the question, but first of all, party did not say in any report that our party workers and people have worked for the BJP. On the contrary, they worked against the BJP. Secondly, Jyoti Basu or Sijit did not manage to spread the party's wing in alliance with the Congress. Remember, Jyoti Basu is on record the longest serving elected chief minister of any state in India. And that is a record of his nobody has come close to. And all these elections he has won, defeating the Congress. So I don't know what you're talking about and which world you're in. That party has grown in alliance with the Congress. The party has grown defeating the Congress in Bengal, defeating the Congress in led front in Kerala, defeating the Congress in Tripura. So therefore, this presumption or what you're saying is absolutely wrong. What is the next question? What is the party's strategy to face ensuing Bengal election where the main opposition platform will be handled by country's home affair? I've just explained to you what the Central Committee has discussed and decided, and that is the party's understanding. And again, a question has come. You have always maintained that self-criticism is an integral part of Communist Party. Again, it's again about this is comment Manikandan from Mathrubhumi. I'll come to it. Then PM Security Pulwama, that we have answered. Yeah, these are ones on the chat box here. So now let me take up Manikandan's question that's come here. You have always maintained that self-criticism is an integral part of the Communist Party. Certain policy decisions taken by left-wing government in Kerala, like engaging multinational consultancy companies and focus on inviting foreign aid, have been criticized even by friends of the left. As the General Secretary of the CPM, do you believe that all these criticisms against the party, against the Pinarayi Vijayan government, are politically motivated, or is there anything to introspect? Now, I don't know whether they are friends of the party or others who have raised this criticism, but even if they are friends, if there's any merit in the criticism, the party will surely examine it. And we have done it in the past, we'll continue to do it. If there is no merit in that criticism, then of course it's a different matter. Then we'll know why it is being raised. So therefore, if there's any merit in it, that will be seen. CPM is in direct fight with the Congress in Kerala. How will you convince people about the understanding with the Congress in West Bengal? The two state elections are held together. Again, Manikandan. Remember, the people of Kerala are very mature. In 2004, when the CPM had declared that it will support an alternative government that will naturally, among the opposition parties, be led by the Congress, in such a situation, when simultaneous elections took place in Bengal and Kerala, and for the parliament election, when all over the country, in such a situation, the people of Kerala elected 18 LDF members of parliament out of the 20. So don't underestimate the intelligence and maturity of the people of Kerala. What the BJP has been doing in the last 1 year since its return, more than 1 year, how it has been destroying the constitution, how it has been destroying the fundamental rights of the people, how it has been clubbing any expression of dissent as being an enemy of the country. So these are all matters people are watching and seeing. They know that this danger has to be defeated. And that I'm sure the people of Kerala will fully understand. And on the other hand, it is the Congress party that will have to explain to the people of Kerala. I have never heard in my life and in politics for the last nearly 5 decades that a state unit president contradicts a national leader, a former president of the Indian National Congress, and says, let the national leaders confine themselves to national politics. As far as state politics is concerned, that is the subject matter of the state leadership. This sort of a situation I never came across. Now that is happening. All of you are aware in Kerala. So that is there for all to see. Now there are some questions that have come by email. Yeah, Manikandan's question came by email also, which I've answered. And then the question from Prashant of Asianet, which says, do you think the Kerala is in a big moral blow? Events in Kerala is a big moral blow for the party. Has it affected party's chances for a consecutive win? What events are a moral blow? What are these events that are moral blow? A secretary of the chief minister or the chief minister's office, the moment it was known that he was involved in some way connected with some wrongdoing, the CM immediately suspended him from that position. The concerned gentleman is an IAS officer. IAS officers are appointed by the central government. They are inquiring central government into the whole affair. And as and when that inquiry shows that there is something wrong, some violation of law, then in accordance to law, action must be taken. I'm sure that'll happen, but the investigation is still on. So, what is the what is the issue about any moral blow that you're been talking about? Then the question from Jomi Thomas that it says the case involving the son of has dragged the party into unnecessary controversy of the party secretary's son. CPM is a party that gives importance to communist values and lifestyles. Is the party contemplating any step to prevent persons undue benefit of the serious nature of their or name of their parents? You see, all these questions I've answered earlier. I've answered day before yesterday. I've answered outside Delhi in Patna when these questions were asked by Malayali media persons there. And I'll have to repeat the same answer. You see, as far as the son of our state secretary, Comrade Kodiyeri Balakrishnan, is concerned, he is not a member of the party. Number one. So what you're talking about, party's responsibilities and moral values, etc., that applies to my party members. That applies to those who adhere to my party and are members of my party, and for that it will be strictly implemented. But for those who are outside the party, who are doing it, that is not our concern. Number two, the State Secretary, Comrade Kodiyeri Balakrishnan, himself said very, very clearly and categorically, conduct the investigation. If there is anything wrong or any violation committed that you find, take action according to law. That investigation is going on, and that will happen. So I don't see what is the issue that is involved in this. That is an issue that will take place. If anything is guilty, action must be taken in accordance with law. That applies here. That applies also to that IAS officer. In accordance to law, action must be taken. So that is I think the questions that I've got by email, and there are no more that have come in the chat box. So I suppose, anyway, I think there are no more left for. However much you may change the wording, the basic essence of the questions of my Kerala media friends is the same thing, which I've answered. So that's it, since there are no more questions. So I think we take leave for today. We'll see you all again, surely, shortly, when these struggles take off. So thank you very much for participating in this live press conference. Once again, my namaskar and thanks to all of you. Thank you.